Hello, today I will be talking about Cantonese opera, which is also known as Peking opera and Beijing opera, but throughout this presentation I'll be referring to it as Cantonese and Peking opera. So, for the origin of Peking opera, we actually don't know the exact origin of Peking opera, but it's assumed that in 1790, when Emperor Shang hosted a festival in Beijing for traditional Chinese operas, came to this festival and they integrated and combined stories, and it created what we now know today as Peking opera. And so around 600 CE, the Emperor Yangtai really enjoyed this opera, and he opened a training school to help Peking opera actors train, of course. But he usually used this to recruit women to his harem. But however, this event helped spread Peking opera across China, and it is still used today, and how it was before, it's still used mainly for entertainment. And then for staging, plays originally took place on a thrust, usually outside. And many of the plays were written during the Shang dynasty. And originally shows were around 24 plays long, so they were relatively long. And then tech elements such as props and the set are very simple. So usually the set consists of just one image in the background and it remains the same. And then you have two chairs and a table, and these chairs can be used as doors and can also create levels in a scene. And then props, like I said, are very simple. Lanterns are often used to help show the audience that this scene is taking place during the night, and whips are often used to show that an actor is riding a horse in that scene. And then Peking opera relies heavily on gesture and movement, because often these gestures explain what the character is doing, because the props and set are very simplistic. And then action, Peking opera usually consists of music, singing, and acrobatics. Similar to Western theater, some shows have more acrobatics than others, and some rely heavily more on singing. And then music is often used to underscore the action, and here are some of the instruments they use throughout the scenes. And then for design, there are four main characters. In Peking opera, you have the sheng, which are usually the younger male roles. You have the deng, which are the female roles. And then you also have the zheng, male roles with distinct characteristics. And then you have the shao, which are male clowns, and they add a comedic relief. And so unlike Western theater, the type of character decides many aspects of the character. So usually the speaking voice, the makeup and costumes will be decided just based on the type of character that is in the play. And so now I've chosen the performance element, the voice, to focus on. And so as I've just stated, the voice is determined by the type of character. So for deng roles, which are usually female roles, and specifically when you have young female roles like the Xingyi roles, and then also the Xie Xing roles, which are the younger male roles, they are going to use a higher register. And so they call this their little voice. For us, it usually sounds like a male's falsetto and a woman's head voice, which is what they use. And then for usually older roles, for male and female older roles, they're going to use their natural voice, which is what they call their big voice, which is what sounds to us more like a chest voice. And then more about the convention, how it came to be. So one of those four traditional Chinese opera styles were the Kunju opera, and it evolved during the Ming Dynasty between the 1300s and the 1600s. And it is known to be one of the earliest theater forms, and this this style of opera was known to help make music a key factor in Peking opera, and songs were developed into a major factor for telling the story. And so this is an actress who came from China, and she came to America to introduce Peking opera. And so she is explaining to you how the audience usually responds to the voice. And she states that singing falsetto is a convention for scholarly young men role. This seems very difficult for non-Chinese audience to accept. Non-Chinese ask, why does a male sing with a female voice? Actually, to us, it is not a female voice. In Chinese, we say the adio is singing with his own natural voice or big voice blended with a little voice. It is two voices blended, thus creating a falsetto voice. Thanks, Mike. Okay, so here are some popular plays in Peking opera. All of these plays are popular for the different aspects in Peking opera. For example, you have The Drunken Beauty, which is known for its music, and then you also have The Monkey King, which is shown here, known for its acrobatics. But I have chosen The Drunken Beauty for my traditional performance, and The Drunken Beauty play is about how the emperor tells his favorite concubine that he's going to meet with her, and the concubine prepares to meet with the emperor, but instead he does not meet with her, he meets with another concubine. And so the concubine here is very sad, and so to deal with the sadness, she drinks a lot of alcoholic beverages and becomes intoxicated throughout the show. And so I chose this play because it's a very easy plot to follow, and it's one of the most famous Peking opera plays. And so my goals for this play was to effectively sing this short excerpt with minor incorrect notes. And then also I wanted to be able to use the la vowel, because this is a vowel that they use to reach higher notes. Because for a certain period of time, women were not allowed to sing and be actors in Cantonese opera. So men had to learn how to sing these high notes, and they realized that singing with the la vowel helped them reach those high notes more easily. And then I wanted to also hold my mouth correctly, because in this song, as you can see here, the actor holds their mouth in kind of like a smile, and they sing with the la vowel through the smile. And so I wanted to also be able to do that, and then pronounce my words in Chinese to the best of my ability. So, in Peking opera, they do not have librettos, so I had to use this video that had English translations from the China Global Television Network in order to learn the lines. And so here is my timeline process. So the first thing I did was I wrote the lyrics down in English to understand what I was saying, and then I wrote the Chinese translation. And so after doing that, the next thing I did was just trying to simply speak the words. And so here is a recording of me doing that.
冰龙的有料该是公爱做的得有设施。
So that is me just simply speaking it, no rhythm or melody added. And so the next thing I did was I tried to simply say the words through my mouth, the mouth shape. So there we go. So that is me trying to say the words through the type of mouth shape that's used. And then after that, I tried to actually sing the melody with the mouth shape and also trying to pronounce it correctly. And so now I will begin my performance of Drunken Beauty. And so here, real quick, here are the lines that I will be singing. Here's the English translation, the Chinese traditional translation, and then how to sing it. You saw me singing using the la vowel, even though my voice was closed, or not my voice, my mouth was shaped in a closed manner. Hopefully you heard space in the back by using the la vowel in order to sing through my mouth shape. And that is the opening song of The Drunken Concubine. This is the song that the concubine first sings before she realizes that the emperor will not be meeting with her. And so it's more of a happy song, but then later in the show, she sings it when she becomes more intoxicated and it's more sad. So thank you so much. Hello. So in researching Cantonese opera, I learned a lot about how certain methods that are used in Western theater, I often overlook. let me explain. For example, in Peking opera, the type of character decides the costuming, the voice that the actor uses, and even the makeup that the actor wears. Where in Western culture or Western theater, the director and actor usually have a say in these things, and they're able to change how a character walks. But in Peking opera, the characters are almost set in stone. So learning the difference between Western theater and Peking opera there was really interesting to me because it was a completely different process used to decide how a character is. And then in learning more about Cantonese opera, specifically the voice, I found very interesting, obviously, because I chose it as my convention. But when I was first seeing if I wanted to do Peking opera for my research presentation, I, of course, watched a few plays. And when I first heard a person sing, I was completely caught off guard because I believe I understood that males were playing these roles, these dong roles, these female roles, but the singing technique is distinctly different than what I'm used to in Western theater. And granted, I haven't had much experience in Western theater because I've only done theater in high school, but seeing that different type of singing technique was very interesting to me because initially I wondered, like, why is this male, he sounds a lot like a female? Is he trying to sing like a female? Which is why I included the quote in my presentation from the actress who was from China who came to America to introduce Peking opera to us. She stated that often the audience says, why are these actors singing with a female voice? But she states that actually they're just singing with their little voice. And so this quote really helped me understand my own bias or my own culture, because here in America, often when males talk in a higher register or sing in a higher register, people usually respond like, oh, they're singing like a female. But in China's culture, this doesn't necessarily mean that the actor is singing like a female. The actor is just singing in a higher register. There's not really a gender role assigned to it always. Obviously, they're going to sing in a higher register when they're playing dom roles, but they also sing in a higher register when they're playing young male roles. So just speaking or singing in a higher register in China doesn't always mean, especially in theater, doesn't always mean that they're playing female roles. And so understanding that opened my mind to different views of gender roles, even in my own culture and Peking opera. And so something that I will take with me for when I do like plays in the future as a performer, it will also be understanding background information and why it's important to do research for about like a play or excerpt you're performing. So I performed The Drunken Beauty, of course, specifically the Drunken Concubine song. And first, when I watched this song and I did research, I learned that a concubine system kind of in China is much more than what it is here in America. Usually in America, a prostitute is simply someone like having sexual relations, for money. But here in Chinese culture, it's different, especially during the Qing dynasty. A concubine, especially one on a higher level, could eventually become empress and like marry the emperor. So understanding that, it helped me understand more about the role that I was playing. This actor wasn't, or not, sorry, not this actor, this character wasn't just set because the emperor didn't meet with her, but all concubines during this time are trying to earn favor from the emperor. So when this concubine is known for being one of his favorites, and then the emperor doesn't visit her, it helped me explain why this would hurt her so deeply. Because it's different in Western theater. So understanding that really helped me connect more with the character and understand what I was thinking.